Welcome everybody to Latin Nerds Network. My name is Jose and this is my review for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, the fourth entry in this new kind of reboot franchise. Of course, I was a big fan of the original three, following the story of Caesar, and now, so I was very curious and excited to see this one. I want to see where they will take this story. Where does it go from here? I heard a lot of good things leading up into it. Now this one here, obviously with Caesar, as the movie sets up, Caesar has died, and this takes place really a few generations, in the future ahead of his death. And now the story focuses on a new chimpanzee by the name of Noah, whose clan was raided and its survivors taken away by another strong clan in the name of Caesar, if you will. Caesar's legacy is really throughout this whole film, which I found really interesting. So now, Noah sets forth to try to find his family and bring them back, and runs across a couple individuals who, he gains their assistance in trying to accomplish his new mission. One, an orangutan who's kind of living on his own, who still believes in the true teachings of Caesar, and trying to, kind of live harmoniously with humanity, if you will. And a young human girl, who, at first, she seems like any other human. She's very primitive, not able to speak, but they learn later on that, she's very intelligent and can speak, which surprises them. But they all kind of band together to try to find this clan, which has taken Noah's family, and bring him back. And of course, eventually they meet up with this individual called Prometheus, the antagonist, who, claims to be the new Caesar, if you will, and he's trying to, keep together the apes together strong, and gain the foothold in this new world, etc. So this one here, listen, this one, I wasn't as impressed as I wanted to be, in particularly from what I heard. Now, I'll get the obvious out of the way. This movie looks great. The CG is fantastic. The motion captured animation of the apes is is somewhat surreal. That the emotions that they can create now, that was fantastic. It looks great, no doubt. I don't think there's any doubt about that for them. Some CG every so often, you kind of notice it, but for the most part, it was so well done. I was really impressed by that. But that's the obvious. The film itself was good. It was solid. I think it was the weakest out of the four entries for me. Again, not a bad film. I'm not saying you should lower your expectations, but at the same time, I kind of expecting something else. I did like, where the story goes. It was a well-written film in terms of that. But the biggest issue for me was the length, and more importantly, the pacing. I don't care if a movie's long. That's fine, as long as it has good cadence to it. The pacing is good. And this movie's pretty slow. It really is. And it takes a little bit to get going. And just as it builds momentum, when you think it is, it kind of slows back down again. I thought that really could have shaven 20 minutes off this film, maybe even more, to kind of get us going a little bit quicker, particularly get us to where just spoiler here, not a spoiler, the trailer's review, you end up going to this new kingdom, of course, that's set forth by Prometheus and all that, but it takes a long time to get there, almost too long. And that was my biggest issue. I could not really get momentum, get myself really invested in everything fully. Now, when I finally get there, things pick up. It's more interesting. I like where it ends up. Obviously, things are set up for future installments if this movie does well. And I hope it does, because I want to see this continue. I think what they set up was interesting. Obviously, there's, the things about, with the Caesar's legacy and what it meant to the apes, and how they can or can't coincide with humanity. That plays a big role, particularly at the end of the film, which I really enjoyed. And I like Noah's character. He was really good. I like a lot of the characters here. That was really well done. But unfortunately, I need a little bit more juice behind it for me to really get behind this film. But overall, it was still okay. It was enjoyable, just not great. Again, not as good as the other ones. But that being said, doesn't mean it's not a good film. And if you're a fan of this series, I still recommend you guys go watch it, because the sense of scale and the special effects is worth seeing on the big screen. But just again, buyer beware. It is a long film, and not a very fast-paced one. I think those are the biggest issues and the biggest takeaway here, aside from the great CGI effects and a solid story. But all in all, a good experience. Still recommend that you guys check it out. If you guys go watch it, comment below, let me know what you guys thought. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feel money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.